3 matches today. We got 3 matches tomorrow. So let's start talking about some of these that are going up today. You have a 5%er rocking in that Norway and Ivory Coast. So we'll start here. France and Sweden. I mean, talk about huge prices, Jesse. $9.50 if you want to back Ale Le Bleu to be moving on here against Sweden. How do you find a way to bet this game? You know, what, France halftime, full time? Do you think, as prohibitive of a favorite that France is here, it's justified? Do you think maybe they concede a little bit? How are you looking to bet this one?
Well, I'm going to quote the great Ross Benjamin because he likes to tell me, Jesse, do you think the bookmakers are trying to tell you something here? And I think the bookmakers are telling us a little something here, because if you look at the spread for this game, you got France minus a goal and a half on the spread. And if you look at the total for this game, the total sits at 3.5. There's a big gap between minus 1.5 and 3.5. And what does that tell you, Dan? It tells you that they expect Sweden to get at least 1 goal. I'm not going to touch the side. I'm not going to get overly invested in a France as a favorite bet, even though I think it's probably the right play. I definitely don't expect this game to be a draw in the 90th minute. France is certainly a well-deserved favorite to win this tournament. But dare I say that France isn't just confident, they're almost arrogant. They know that they're good enough to score multiple goals on anybody, and they're not trying to post clean sheets. In fact, they've only posted 1 clean sheet in their last 8 matches. And if you go back to that game against Norway's B team, remember the final game of the group stages, the Norway team rested all their starters, and France wins big in that game by a score of 4-1. But even with their B team, Norway was able to get on the board, and they actually missed a penalty in that game as well. Sweden is more than capable of scoring goals. You've got Gyökeres and Isaac, 2 of the top strikers in Europe. I expect Sweden to at least get on the board, which will cash the both teams to score prop, which is priced at minus 125. And how do I know that? Well, I got plays in all 4 games. And this might be on my premium card as well.
Oh, wow. Plays in all of them, Jesse. We're going to have to find a way that people can get in on that. We'll let you know here in just a few, wt.buzz/JS, but don't go there quite yet. I like that one quite a bit, Jesse. Even if you just look at this Sweden team, you know that France, I guess, knock on wood here, is going to get on the board, but also both teams to score, I believe, is played in at least 7 straight matches here for Sweden as well. So on both sides of the ledger, you got teams who can score. France, they can get a little bit laxadaisical with a lead. Both teams to score makes a heck of a lot of sense to me. And
9 straight
one,
Sweden matches.
9 straight. All right, yeah, thank you. That's one you take to the bank and keep on moving. Both teams to score. I give that my stamp of approval. Now, Jesse, I think this is maybe one that you and I differ a little bit on. Maybe it's because I spent time living in Ecuador, but I think there's a chance here that plus 146 to advance can be live in this one. Mexico, unblemished. I believe they haven't even conceded a goal in this tournament quite yet, playing on their home soil. So Mexico is a wagon. They came into this tournament like a wagon. I just think this defense of Ecuador might just be enough to make this thing interesting and keep them alive late. How do you see this game shaking out, Jesse?
You know, Dan, I don't disagree with you. I think Ecuador is good enough to keep this game interesting and be alive late. And then I think Mexico is going to break their hearts. I've heard a lot of people talking up Ecuador. And if you look at the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifying standings, this Ecuador squad finished 2nd behind Argentina. I think a lot of people are looking at that. But if you look a little bit closer at those standings, you'll see that Ecuador only scored 14 goals in 18 matches. And in those 18 matches, 8 of them were draws. Clearly, Ecuador is going to come in here and try and slow this game down, force extra time, and try and win it on penalties. They'd take a 1-0 win as well. But Ecuador, not the greatest offense we see out of this Ecuador squad. And if you're using the win over Germany as evidence that Ecuador is a good team, I got to point out that, first of all, Germany's on the plane back home already. Germany had already clinched first in the group at that point. Yep. So I read absolutely nothing into Ecuador's win over Germany. And when it comes down to it, even if you can convince me that Ecuador is the better squad, this game is being played at Estadio Azteca. Mexico simply does not lose at Estadio Azteca. Their record in their last 17 matches dating back to 2019, 12-4-1. One loss in their last 17 matches. This stadium is 7,700 feet above sea level. Now, people will say that Ecuador plays in Quito, which is also a high elevation, but they've been in the U.S. now for, a month? Their last game was close to sea level. They say it takes 2 to 4 weeks to fully acclimate to that kind of elevation. They've had, 2 to 4 days. So, I do think the home field advantage will be huge for Mexico, not just the elevation, but the crowd. And ultimately, I think Mexico will advance. So I'll take Mexico to advance in this one.
I'll tell you what, those Ecuadorians have plenty of elevation of their own in their home nation. But Jesse, I understand the thoughts there. If you just look at these two teams as well, just as how they've stacked up over the last few seasons. 2024 0-0 draw, Mexico versus Ecuador in 2025 1-1. So they've been tight affairs, and I think Jesse and I both can see that happening. Jesse, I do have to hit you though. Here, Ecuador, let's do it. Let's give away a free 3-day flex pass. Andy, I'm pulling one out of your book. We'll even give Jesse Mexico to advance, the favorite. I'll take Ecuador to advance. Care to make things interesting, Jesse?
Oh.
Wow. The answer, I'm doing it. It's the love I have for the nation. Comment below and let us know. I mean, this should be the biggest slam dunk one. We should see 1 million comments backing the one that they call Lionel Jesse. If you think Mexico is advancing, comment below, include your Wager Talk username. If Mexico moves on, you will be entered in to win a free 3-day flex pass. If the underdog in Ecuador moves on with me, Dan, and your Wager Talk username, and if you cash, you'll be entered on in to win a free 3-day flex pass. If you pick Ecuador, you have a better chance of winning simply because it'll be probably one comment. So Jesse, best of luck. We're making things interesting here, brother. I love it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Jesse, real quick, let's talk a little bit. I'm going head to head with a man who has just been absolutely cashing. I mean, picked up 16 units here in the World Cup, 75%, 21-7-2. That ROI through the roof. If a financial advisor came and told you, hey, in a couple weeks I can get you a 25% ROI, you would line up hand and fist to back him. So Jesse, what do you got rocking tonight? I know you mentioned 4 plays. Correct me if I'm wrong. You threw them together in a package for folks with an insane price point.
That's right. $39 will get you all 4 matches that will be played in the next 24 hours. Of course, that includes tomorrow's early match with DR Congo and England. And regarding this record in this World Cup, the thing that I'm most proud of, Dan, is the fact that this is simply a carbon copy of what I did 4 years ago in Qatar. I hit 71% in that World Cup. So this is just what is expected at this point. I actually was 100% perfect in the knockout round of the last World Cup. So let's hope to carry that over. 9-0 now since 2022 in Qatar in the knockout stages.